just want to pop you over back to the Cape Town police station once again. Karabo, who's meant to lay that criminal charge against Nobuhle Nkabane, has arrived. Let's listen in.
Not that it should be packed with people from your own department who are already under the payroll of the state, not people who are political appointees in your office. That is not independence at all. That is number one. Number two, when you tell us that there is a panel, you have to make sure at the very least that the chairperson of that panel actually exists. So we've since known that Advocate Terry Matawu did not chair this panel, which begs two questions. One, does this panel actually exist? Two, if it does exist, who exactly is the chairperson of this panel? So we have precedents of Teniye Ngeni in 2005, 2006 that has already shown us that when you do lie to Parliament and you deliver false information before Parliament, you are asking for a fraud charge against you, and that is the reason why the Democratic Alliance is here. But what is mostly important for South Africans to note here is that when President Ramaphosa doesn't want to act against corruption within his own cabinet, the Democratic Alliance will do what it must to make sure that people are brought to book. We are here today to make sure that our fight against corruption is consistently heard. And what makes the Democratic Alliance extra happy is knowing that we're not fighting alone. We're fighting alongside South Africans who've long since also said that they do not want Nobuhle Nkabane in cabinet anymore. Not only has she shown little to no integrity, but we cannot trust her with the people's money at all. Because when you give her 19 billion rands of the people's money, she goes on a Christmas spree and gives it to her cadres of the ANC, mostly from KwaZulu-Natal. So we're not only not going to trust her with 19 billion rands of CETA money, we're going to trust her with NSFAS money, because since she's took up office, she hasn't transformed NSFAS. NSFAS is still a mess, student accommodation is still a mess, allowances are still a mess, tuition fees are still a mess, and therefore she hasn't dealt with defunded students. And therefore we are of the 100% firm view as the DA that not only does she deserve to be charged, she also does not deserve the power and the delegation to use the state's money, and that is why we will not be voting in favor of her budget.
Why are you here today? Because you have other processes that you have started, like the ethics committee and also the public protector. Why not wait until they are finalized? It could even maybe strengthen your case.
So this situation deserves an all hands on deck approach. What it means is that while we do have the ethics complaint charge that has been laid with a supplementary affidavit, while we do have an active case with the public protector against Nobuhle Nkabane, there still is one missing link. That is South African authority, that is SABC, and that's why we're here today. While ethics and the public protector can find her guilty, the police must jail her. That's why we're here.
Can you just confirm the public protector case? What did you guys report to them when it comes to the minister?
So what we reported today, when we submitted to the public protector, was simply that she breached her code of conduct within office. Lying is a criminal offence in Parliament. You cannot tell Parliament that you don't want to give them information, and if you do want to give them information, tell them when you want to do so. If you are going to appoint people who are responsible for 19 billion rands of the state's coffers, you must at the very least know that the people of South Africa would deserve to know who is responsible for that money and how you went about that process. And particularly when we have proof in the pudding that the appointment process was not only shady, but that the people that were appointed out of 573 applications ended up being 20 ANC cadres. Is there another question, you guys? All clear? Thank you so much. I'll be going inside now. Thank you, team.
All right, so that's the Democratic Alliance's Karabo, who not only is the party spokesperson, but also sits on the Higher Education and Training Committee in Parliament. Helen Ziller, who spoke before her, mentioned that it was actually Karabo who went through the list of those CETA board chairpersons and made, I suppose, the associations that she did with them being linked to some of the ANC's leaders. And in fact, some of them were ANC leaders themselves. And that's why we're told Karabo is the one laying this charge. She says they not only want Nobuhle Nkabane, the Higher Education Minister, to be held accountable in Parliament through the parliamentary processes, but also want there to be some kind of criminal liability. In fact, the words used by Karabo is that she wants Nobuhle Nkabane to be jailed. All of this, of course, leads back to not only those CETA appointments, but also to Andrew Whitfield, many people say, who was dismissed as a deputy minister. The DA retaliating against that move, saying, in fact, if Andrew Whitfield is being sanctioned for undertaking an unauthorized trip to the US, then all the other corrupt ANC ministers and deputies should also face the chopping. That's essentially the rationale, the logic that the DA is putting forward.